I'd just like to talk about something I've called the 7 states of high. Something I should mention, I've put the camera mic on level, on flat. It does got an auto volume thing. So the idea of the auto volume thing is when it gets loud, it brings the volume down, and when you get very quiet, it brings the volume up. But I've left it on flat so it doesn't do that, because some of the things I'm going to be doing might get quite loud, and I'd like you to hear accurately the difference in volume, which might mean that when I'm actually talking, it's a bit quiet. If it's too quiet when I'm actually talking, then I will do something in post-production in the software to bring the speech up, but that's why I've left it hopefully flat. So the 7 states of high. These high notes always seem to be an issue with both male and female. There are similar places for male and female that the voices aren't quite the same, but they're near enough that I hope this will be of some use. Full chest. Well, what happens is most of us speak in chest voice. When I start getting higher in chest voice, there, I'm hitting a note like that. Maybe you can sense I need more energy. If I back off from that, then what I do is this instead. If I'm going to go higher still, then I can do that. So what I've done, this is how it feels to me, and this is not, I'm not talking physiologically necessarily, because I think it's more useful for you to know how it feels. And the idea and the image I have there is that what I do is I narrow here, so I need less air. Maybe there's a psychological reason, because if I put more air and I get it wrong, you sense that what you get wrong is going to be loud and wrong. And if you're a little bit concerned about that, you tend to back away. So if I go higher up there, I can do that, and then I can do that, and then if I don't give enough air, then it starts to fail. So I'm at the top of my chest voice there, somewhat, and I haven't given it any more air. I've just narrowed until it no longer works. Whereas if I do that, give it more air, then I want to go higher still. And if I go up to my very top note, which I happen to know, I don't want to bother using the piano, I was going to, but why do we need it? Let's just do it. So if I can go up to there in full chest, don't know if you can see what I have to do to get that. There! Now, that I'm going to call full chest. If I go beyond that in full chest, it's just not going to work. There! Just won't have it. So there we are. That's probably going to be about a G. Let's see. Just below G. So G is kind of like as high as I can go. If I try and get an A, it's not really going to work. So that's full chest. You have to give it more and more air. The pipe feels like it's wide open. It becomes quite stressful, and it's loud. And if you're not careful, if you handle it badly, it can end up being a shout. But you can modify it so it's not a shout. So I'm going to call that full chest. That's one state of high. The next state of high I've got is light chest, float. So if I've got my full chest, I'm going to say it's a G, which I can go up to, whack it out there, everything open. Then floating for me is about a minor third down. I can't float at the same note as the full chest. So it's what I mean by float, or light high chest. That's my G. Go to piano sound. So if I try and do that lightly, it's going to falsetto, can you hear? So really, let's bring it down a minor third. Just to an E. There's more comfortable E flat. Woo! That's right on the edge. On the other video I said, when I get to that light one, if you practice it, I feel it's like this. I know this looks a bit weird, but what I'm doing here is this is falsetto, or the passaggio, something you might call the break. I prefer not to use that word really, but hey. And I'm right up against it. I can go right, I can sail right next to it. And if I can keep control, I don't flip over, I almost tease it by going that close and staying just within. Palette has to go up. If I leave the palette down, makes it harder. So there, I'm going to call that a float. Can't float to the same as full chest. For me, about a minor third down. Next one, what have I got? Focused chest. Aha. So, going up to my G, full chest as we know. Ha! Lot of effort. What if I do this though? Now, on recording, you'll have a job, I think, differentiating between those two. Which is why you've got to be very careful when you copy people that are on recordings. With compression and all sorts of stuff has gone on, but the biggie is you don't know how loud it is. That's why I've left this camera mic on manual flat, so it's not compensating. So hopefully you'll get some idea of the differences in volume. So I'm up there now. Ah! Look at it physically. Ah! Sideways, I don't know if you can see much. We won't because it's all down here, so you have to trust me. Doesn't use much air, could go on forever, and it's not very stressful. So there I've narrowed with a kind of rather than the of the full chest. So that's what I'm going to call focused chest. That can go as high as full chest. Actually, it can go a little bit higher and beyond, which we'll look at later. So if it can go a little bit higher. So that I say, well, I know what you want to say. You say, prove it. Well, that's what I'm going to do. So there's my G. This is going to be focused chest, high chest there, which is my top note, as you know. When I went to try and go higher than that in full chest, it just wouldn't have it. It just flips through into a kind of distorted, yodely thing. So it's going to be the narrowed, focused chest, high, G. So that one can go higher, can go through into something else which we're going to look at later. If I don't go through, which I did there, just had a slight change, I could go to an A probably. If I hear an A, which I couldn't do in full chest. Which I can do in that focused chest voice. So those are 3 states of high we've had. Then full chest, float, a bit lower, focused chest up there, which I've just done. Spoken falsetto, resonant falsetto, focused falsetto. Spoken falsetto. Well, what I hear a lot of people doing when they go to falsetto, they just don't adjust anything. So if I do that, I'm speaking, I'm going to go a bit higher, and now I'm still speaking up here, haven't adjusted anything, and I'm going to go through into falsetto there, so just do it, make it up there, in a falsetto through there, so you can hear, a little bit breathy. Is it any use? Actually, it's okay if you've got a microphone, it'll never be loud, it's kind of a breathy sound, I haven't adjusted anything, but if I want to sing things there, if I want to sing things there, I can, if I want to be there, depends what you want to do, might be okay. So I'm going to call that spoken falsetto. I haven't adjusted anything, just go straight through. Resonant falsetto, I'm going to take it back a bit and help it along with more resonance from the mouth space here. So if I do spoken falsetto, maybe on an E, and I'm going to take it back. Spoken. Spoken falsetto, resonant. So it's bigger, it's more classical sounding, using all that space back there. I've modified, I've adjusted. So I'm going to call that resonant falsetto. Got another one. Focused falsetto. So similarly to chest voice at the top, if I'm in spoken, a bit breathy. What if I can you hear? I've focused it. It's not the same as this one. So 3 states of falsetto. When I say these 3 states, they're not, I'm differentiating them, but really they kind of sliding scale between them, but I'm just using some stop-off points, if you like. So, resonant falsetto, spoken falsetto, focused falsetto, and now, a seventh state, blend or mix. It's right about C probably. Oh, C sharp. I'm so it's hard and I thought I could go. That's kind of my top note in a blend or a mix up there. So here's another image for you. I don't know if this will help as an image. Here's my chest voice. So we know it goes up to the stoppers. Okay? So it won't go any higher than that. And by then, the air is moving at 100 miles an hour. Everything is open. What can I do? You know, you just stop the air and it will stop, but that's about it. If I then take my falsetto, which I'm going to put over this side, when I come down, I've done this on another video. So I'm going now, the bottom of my falsetto, let's find a note I can do in both. So let's say E. Yeah. So here's the E, which is in the lowish end of my falsetto. E, E, ah, ah, ah. Can you sense physically? Ah, 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 ah. Top of my falsetto, I have to work a bit. You can sense it, no? Ah, ah. If I don't, ah, ah, I just can't get it. So I have to do that. But the lower end of my falsetto, ah, ah, ah. In fact, I overshot there when I did it because I was used to doing that, just done the high up there, so it doesn't need much. Ah, 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 ah. Nothing at all. What about chest? Ah, ah. I'm going to take it a bit higher actually, because I want to work harder. Yeah. So if I'm there, ha, ha, ha. Chest, falsetto. Ah, 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 ah. I can't do that. If I try and do chest with that amount of air, it's hopeless. Just know I can't do it. So what have we got there? We've got an issue. We've got low pressure, the lower end of your falsetto, and then you've got monstrous pressure at the top end of your chest voice. There's no way those two are going to meet up. Go between, you're going to get yodels and all sorts. It's going to be very clumsy going through. So there's two things you can do. You can work in, you can just play with this and practice it. One is to do with this focusing that I'm talking about, is see if you can, as you come down in your falsetto, keep some focus, practice that. So as I come down, maybe on an E is a good one. Keep everything quite forward as well, by the way. With a nasal resonance, it seems to sort of ease things in, lift it off somehow. Don't go back, you'll be in trouble if you go back, so keep everything at the front there. Takes the pressure off, it feels like. So if I come down, where am I heading for? Yes, spoken falsetto was there. So I'm starting now to practice in a little bit of focused falsetto, I'm going to call it. Now that's using a little bit more effort because things are narrower. So it's not as limp. Even though you can use that for things. It's not as limp as that. It's got, I mean, because things are narrow, I'm having to. You can't see, but down here. All right, so I'm going to say that I've done this to my falsetto, if you like. I've put a little bit of an angle in there. Because before we were like that. That's a chest, that's a falsetto, no way. This one is headed towards there a little bit. Now, with the top of my chest voice, what if I, instead of whacking it out, if I... hasn't got the same as I had before. That's focused chest at the top. Here's the falsetto, focused. So if you like, I've done this with the top of the chest voice now. And I've done this with the lower end of the falsetto voice, so I'm thinking now I'm in with a chance that maybe we can go through with the pair of them. So that's what I look at doing, coming down. Ah, yeah. All right. Another thing you can do to get familiar with this, what's needed, you can do one note in falsetto and chest, back and forth, so you get used to kind of what's different about them. So again, if I choose now, we're going to leave the focusing for the minute to one side, that focus thing, the blending thing, put that to one side for the minute, because maybe you just want to get used to this first. So I'm going to bring it down into my, where I can do light high chest, so for me around about an E flat. Doesn't really matter what vowel you use. Falsetto, chest. Falsetto, chest. So somewhere around there you might just play with this and see how you get on. Going between chest and falsetto, so you get a little bit familiar with what the differences are. So falsetto, into chest. If I do it a little bit higher, it's going to get harder, semitone, because now I'm getting towards the limit of my light chest capability. Yes, you see what's starting to happen. I have to. It's getting stressful, so I'm not going to go any higher. Let's bring it down. Back to the E flat. Let's bring it down to a tone to D flat. The lower I bring it, to an extent, the easier it gets until it starts to get too low for falsetto. Let's bring it down another tone to a B. So you're just getting used to that between there. Now, we could try the same thing with the focus thing. I might try a bit higher. Actually, I don't know if I've ever done this. So let's do it live now and see what happens. Shall I try it on an F? Why not? So if I do focus falsetto, now I'm going to see if I can keep that focus and go through into chest as well, see what happens. Start up there! No, not here, falsetto. You do it on an E, it might make it easier to bring things forward and off a bit. Got to focus it a bit more. Let's go to a G. Can you hear what I'm doing falsetto there? Not. So I'm trying to go through into chest voice there. Here's the chest in that focus place. You'll get a lot of that. We get a lot. Actually, I had a lot of it for a long time. Come to that in a minute. So, don't get put off. Watch out, use your intelligence. If something feels like it's just not right, guess what? It's probably just not right. But if something a little bit, you're getting it wrong and it gets a little bit sometimes, well, keep an eye on it and watch. You're unlikely to get the balance right and you don't know what you're doing. So, you're probably going to bump into a few things a bit with it. So, this is the way it is. Or if I take it higher still. So now, I'm going to an A, which I can't do in full chest. So let's see what happens there. I haven't done this before. So for, falsetto, focused. Oh! Well, there it went into a kind of a chest, but it wasn't the full chest, no? That's the focused falsetto, and I'm going to work that in and just see if I can go through into my chest and see what happens. Falsetto first. So we're starting to see they're pretty close together now. I'm with a chance, so I work it in. So let me see, go back to chest, focus chest, see if I can go through and minimize any change and end up in a kind of in-between place, a kind of a blend or a mix of the two now that I've got them a little bit closer together. So where would I be? We'll start there with the chest in F. Again. Oh, I got to a D. Yes. Thank you very much. If I wasn't doing this for you, I would have done the D. It's not much use for doing Sinatra stuff. He'd be turning in his grave. But for other things, What other things? Let me just give you, I'm going to disappear a bit because the piano's down here and you won't be able to see me, but where might you use it? Stuff, I know. Not too loud. Let me give you something a bit softer. Oh, there I am, just. Yeah, so those are things I'd suggest you with this particular kind of thing at the top there. Obviously this is just one thing, it's a very popular thing, people want to be able to learn to do it, want to do it, but it's not the only thing. You can just do that, doesn't really matter, depends what your style is. And I think that's about it with this.